What's good, y'all? I've got some really awesome buffs for a really underrated and cool Pokemon, Corsola. If you're new here and you're not familiar with my style of buff and changes for Pokemon, I highly recommend you check out that Google Sheet linked right down below in the description. If you click all of these useful tabs here on the bottom, they'll navigate you to, various important documents, but the most important one by far is the search all moves here. So if you look at this guide, it'll show you all of the reworked move buffs and changes in this hack. It's not your average, run-of-the-mill ROM hack. I've reworked pretty much every single damn move in the game, and you can check them all out right here. I've got all these nice, useful little, directories that'll automatically navigate you to a bunch of different moves. And yeah, you can just click these and it'll take you there. You can also just scroll and read. I would recommend doing that if you're new, honestly, unless you have a specific thing in mind that you want to check out first. But yeah. It's all interconnected. Everything links to one another. There's all types of new abilities in this hack and new moves, 130 new ones as well. So yeah, give those all a look. But with that being said, Corsola has some really nice buffs, even more so from the first time I recorded this video. So I swapped out Sap Sipper for Rough Skin. I don't really know why I gave it Sap Sipper. I mean, it's like not the weirdest thing in the world, but I like Rough Skin a lot more. It fits a lot more, and it's just a lot more useful. I mean, not that Sap Sipper's bad. Obviously, it's a water rock type, but I don't know. I'd rather just switch out versus the fucking grass movement. Rough Skin is just better. Also, Sap Sipper doesn't make that much sense. While another really important change here is Strength Sap. I gave that because of Galarian Corsola, or Corsola and Galarian Corsola. They get Strength Sap. It's not like the most fitting thing on the planet for Corsola. I know it's just Coral. I know probably the reason that Corsola has it is because it's a ghost type, but honestly, who cares? I think it's cool, and it makes them a lot better. And they have two great abilities in Regenerator and Rough Skin. Rough Skin obviously fits given that they're like this Coral, and Coral's pretty rough. Their HP stat is still pretty poor because I do try to base HP more on size in this hack, hence why they have such a high base defense stat and special defense stat, because the highest special attack stat that I possibly see for them is 95. And also this is kind of satisfying buffs anyways. 125 defense and special defense isn't that weirdly high, but I would say something around 115 would be a little bit more reasonable for them. But it's a crazy ROM hack with all types of crazy Pokemon running around. So but let Corsola have 125 defenses and 500 BST. Otherwise, it would have been 480 and 115. So I like this a lot. It's just really bulky, really strong. Obviously, the Water Rock typing isn't like the best defensive typing on the planet, but it does have some good resistances. 4 times resist to fire is super valuable, and it also resists normal, flying, ice, and poison. And only 4 weaknesses isn't bad at all. It's not the end of the world. Also, weaknesses in general are heavily overblown in terms of how detrimental they are to the Pokemon. Yeah, Corsola Regenerator is super useful. You do also have a lot of great offensive options, but most importantly, that Strength Sap is great. Set Amend earlier on in the game is awesome for just in time for Olivia, so you get Recover, which is just plain old Recover. Set Amend is objectively better. Set Amend will heal you by 2/3 HP under Sand and 50% otherwise, so just in time for Olivia, that's super cool. Strength Sap 10 levels later roughly is also great. Mineral Shower is awesome, and Hydro Cannon. Mineral Shower and Hydro Cannon function like Draco Meteor, so it's water and rock type Draco Meteor essentially. So what that means is with Regenerator, you can click Mineral Shower once or twice or Hydro Cannon once or twice and then switch out and get your HP back and reset the special attack drop. It's super fun. We also have Strength Sap for that longevity. Strength Sap plus Rough Skin plus Rocky Helmet is awesome, just to check a lot of offensive threats in the hack, especially all of the new multi-hitting attacks, which are pretty scary on like Technician Pokemon. And just in first impression in general, just getting that chip damage with Strength Sap or Sediment and Rough Skin is genuinely useful over Regenerator for a lot of boss fights, because sometimes you might want that passive damage as opposed to the healing from Regenerator, especially when you already have good healing moves like Sediment and Strength Sap. So with that infinite usability capsule, by design, every single Pokemon is supposed to be able to switch between its abilities. So for certain situations, you'll use Rough Skin, other ones you'll use Regenerator. Depends on your personal preferences and your other teammates and all that other stuff. I removed Hustle because there's already enough physical Water Rock types, and the max attack that I see for Corsola is like 65 at most. So with Hustle, that's not super weak, but it's like kind of a meme. I don't like it. Natural Cure is not good in game. Status is not super common. Will-O-Wisp would be the main one you'd have to worry about, and then like a couple of other moves. But in general, like it's not like 6v6 competitive singles where Toxic is all over the place and stuff. It's not as big of a deal in versus AI. So yeah, Ancient Power is awesome. That gives you +1 special defense each time you click it now. You have priority from a bubble shot. You have Calm Mind for special setup, as well as Ingrain, or even earlier. A level 38 Ingrain is very early. Ingrain essentially functions like Calm Mind, but it drops your speed by -5, and it will it will lock you on the field and heal you each turn. So that's really cool for special sets. Well, all sets are special, but it's good for especially defensive boosting. You can run like max HP, max defense, ingrain, click that once or twice or 3 times, and you've got healing moves like strength sap there, and it's just really fun thing you can take advantage of. You can even use that with rough skin, and you can become super like tanky and just live forever and heal up a bunch, and it's really fun. Assuming that there's no moves that you would have to switch out on. It's very risky because you don't even have a switch move to force yourself out, so you should only ever click ingrain when you know for a fact that like there's no really strong like grass type attack, for example, coming up on that boss fight, which is why this hack's difficulty is balanced around the fact that you are using the trainer documents, at least for Nuzlockers. For any hardcore Nuzlocker out there, you're supposed to use the trainer documents, which will be out eventually, to fight against the boss fights in this game. You're not supposed to just go in blind. If you're playing super casually for fun, then go ahead, go in blind, get your ass kicked, and then try again. Whatever you want to do. It's also a lot easier without doing a Nuzlocke because you don't have to worry about your Pokemon fainting, so you can just sack things and get a big damage off, and then kill your Mon and then move on to the next one. So that's more for fun if you're like a more casual, less experienced player. But for experienced players, hardcore Nuzlocke right there. Mirror Coat, that's great for Ultra Necrozma and potentially Totem Rabambi if you need an answer for that. Good coverage. You've got Water Rock, which is a very good dual stab, and then you have stuff like Earth Power, Energy Ball, Ice Beam, Psychic, Shadow Ball, and Dazzling Gleam. And then you have also Giga Drain even is cool. And then you have, good utility options as a whole. Z Camouflage is a pretty cool meme that you can do. It will change your type to match the terrain, so you can use Z Camouflage under like grassy terrain, for example, with Grassy Guard allies, for Olivia, giving you some ideas, and you can get Giga Drain, and you get the terrain boost, and then you get +1 to all your stats with Z Camouflage, so you become super tanky. It's pretty fun. You can use Rough Skin with that. It's a fun little strategy you can try. You can also use like Psychic Terrain or Psychic Surge Pokemon plus Z Camouflage plus Psychic or Nature Power. Sorry, you don't have Psychic at that point as a TM, but Psychic is after Olivia. But you can use Nature Power and get Psychic with Nature Power, and use that with Z Camouflage, get +1 to all your stats versus Plumeria, for example. It's got a lot of creative little things you can try with Z Camouflage. Even Electric Terrain with Thunderbolt could be situationally pretty good. Power Gem is just reliable 90 base power, 1 in 4 chance to give you a special attack boost. Mineral Shower, like I said earlier, is rock type Draco Meteor, so that's really good with Regenerator. Yeah, as a whole, this would be an absolute blast of a Pokemon to use. It's very simple buff and change wise, but it's got a lot of fun things. So yeah, I appreciate you listening. Let me know in the comments down below what you think, and I'll be back for more coming up. Peace, y'all.